Causality has two kinds of arcs, and so far we've only been working with story arcs. These are just arcs of regular plot events. But there's another kind of arc called a subtext arc. This is used for things like character traits or themes that are layered into existing events to give them feeling and color. So as a quick example, here we have some plot where Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson have to break into a safe. And now we'll also create a subtext arc for Sherlock's character traits. We'll make a story point that he's impatient. But this is not an event in itself, it's something we'll add to another event. So now, as I'm writing the regular plot, I realize that I have a chance to express the character's impatience. So I simply drag and drop this character trait onto the snippet. And now I have both a plot beat and a character beat happen at the same time. Notice the two titles. And the drop-down shows two story points. And now I rewrite the snippet so that while Dr. Watson is opening the safe, Sherlock pushes him aside because it's going too slow. So you simply make a list of character traits that you want to try to inject into the story. Maybe he finishes their sentences if they talk too slowly. And maybe he just walks out if people are boring. The two bottom ones are grayed out because I haven't yet used them in the script. The same thing works for themes. If I have a theme about freedom, I can make a bucket of ideas that I want to try to get into the script. If I have ideas for funny comments or gags, I can make a bucket of jokes. Or I can make a bucket of backstory that I try to inject into the conversation. The beauty is that we can create them without yet knowing how we'll use them in the story. And we can track that we've remembered to use them. But the best part is that if we string multiple groups together, we now have a character arc. I'll start by renaming the first group to be his impatient phase. Then I'll create a group for an angry phase, that he gets angry when challenged. And maybe he lashes out when people ask him about his temper. Then let's have a change event where he realizes that he's taking his frustrations out on the wrong people. Then finally he becomes more compassionate. So let's put in some examples of him sort of apologizing. And then, holding the Control key, I drag a connection between them, which means that they have to happen in that order. And causality will warn me if they don't. This way, I get to design the entire character arc separately from the business of plot. And all I have to do is drag them into snippets when I have a chance to express them. The end result is a story that evolves on many levels at the same time. Finally, you can easily find the places you've used a character trait. First of all, when you click a story point, the timeline shows all the places it's used. Secondly, you can press Command or Control W to find the snippets where you've used it. And by continuing to press Command W, you step through each of the places it's used. Next, the arrow menu in the snippet shows which story points are inserted into the snippet. You can click each of them to jump to the story point. And finally, when additional story points are inserted at the same time, you can see them in the plus menu. So in addition to the plot beat, I have shortcuts to 2 of Mike's character traits that are used at the same time. And I can click them to fly to the character arc.